Hi everybody, this is M from DIYM, and today I just wanted to show you guys how to make some bows out of bow dies. So I made these out of faux leather. You can totally use paper for this. I'm sure there's lots of other materials you can use. I'm also going to show in the video how to put these on as backings. Not all of these guys have backings, but I just figured it's kind of a nice thing to show you guys just to make the backings a little bit more secure. I'm just going to show you my method on how to do that. I'm also going to show you guys different types of bow centers. So this one already has a bow center, but I'm going to show you guys different types of bow centers. Yeah, I really hope that you enjoy this video. I hope that this video is helpful. On to the video! I have a few different dies that are specifically bow related. This is not a new topic for people who are into die cutting. A lot of people will buy bow dies. Some people will just buy bows too, just straight up bows, if they don't like making bows, but I'm going to show you guys a few different types of bows. I know I did another video not long ago about how to tie a fluffy bow. This is going to be a little different than that video. So I'm just going to sort of start with the basics. So this particular bow looks like this. A lot of these dies are from KS Craft from AliExpress, or you can find them on Amazon as well. This one's a cat bow die, so it looks like this. So that one's really cute. Black cat bow die, but you can always make it into any kind of colored cat you want. So these ones are good for Halloween. This one's a Halloween bow. This one's a bat bow die, and there's also a spider web one, which is really cute as well. Really fun. And then in case you like stuff for Valentine's Day, these ones are supposed to be in the shape of a heart. They kind of look like this in the end, so kind of look like a heart a little bit. Yeah, so that's basically what they're supposed to look like. I don't know if I'm going to do all these dies. I just wanted to show you a few that I have in my stash. So then there's the pencil bow, and then the pencil kind of looks like this. Actually, sorry, it looks like this. So this looks like the bow here, and then there's a pencil in the back. So that's really cute for back to school, or for teachers, or for artists, anybody who's really into pencils, writers. I think that's a fun little bow for a present, just to top something. Maybe a graduation thing too would be cool. So this one's a reindeer bow, so it looks like this. If you want to, you can always cut things out to make it look like a bunny too. There is a bunny bow for Easter, and it kind of looks something like this, but it has bunny ears instead, and it has whiskers. This one just has antlers, and you can just put a pom-pom for a nose if you wanted to. Yeah, so that one's really cute. And then this one's a skull bow, so another nice one to have for Halloween. It kind of looks like skull and crossbones, which is great for if you're doing like a pirate theme, birthday party, or a present for somebody. They're nice to have because they're different bows for people who have specific interests. So you can sort of theme your presents a little bit more. Obviously, you can always theme like a normal bow by putting something like that in the center, like a cabochon or something like that. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys that. And these are a few bows that I've made. So these are more of the heart-shaped bows that I made for Valentine's Day. I used faux leather. Some of them are sturdier than others. So I got different colors. These are from Amazon. You can get these wherever you can get fabric or craft supplies, wherever they sell pleather. But yeah, it's faux leather. This one, it's got a whole bunch of different kinds here. The black, white, gray, red, all sorts of different colors there. Some sparkly stuff. So that's a cool pack to have. And then these guys are more pinks and blues and whites. Also some sparkly ones there. These ones are just more different shades of pink, so I find those ones really pretty. But yeah, I just basically got 3 packs, and it's got all sorts of different patterns and sparkles. This one's a holographic one. But yeah, anyways, I bought it sort of sight unseen. I saw a few patterns. I thought they looked kind of cool and interesting to play with, so I ended up just buying that. So yeah, I just keep that in with my papers. But yeah, you can make bows out of felt or paper, but I like to sometimes make them out of faux leather. So this was a lip faux leather material. If you want to, you can take a chopstick and unflatten these guys. I would say try to do as you're making it. These guys have been in storage for a little while, so they might be a little flatter than normal. They still look kind of cute when they're flattened out. Then you can just stick something on in the center and make it look even more Valentine's-y. But yeah, these ones I made for Valentine's Day. I thought they were super cute and really fun material. Obviously, this one's really sparkly. This kind of reminds me of the ruby slippers in The Wizard of Oz. So that'd be kind of cool if you were doing like a Wizard of Oz project. Anyways, I'm just going to basically show you from die cutting how to glue these guys together and make a few samples. But that's pretty much the stuff that you need, is basically faux leather, some sort of glue to put things together, and you might want some sort of tool. You might want to get a silicone finger cover as well, in case you're afraid of getting burned, especially with the smaller stuff. You can really get burned easily. But yeah, you really don't need a lot. And as I said, maybe a chopstick or something like that, just to puff things up a little bit if you want to make them look less flat and more three-dimensional. Not a lot of stuff that you need, but these do take some time. You do need some patience with this stuff. So some people love doing them, as I said, some people not so much. I mean, I kind of like doing them okay. I'll do them here and there. Anyways, I think that they're kind of cool, and I just wanted to show you how to do that. Okay, so I got some new dies in from AliExpress. They're new to me anyways. I don't really know how new these dies really are. Some of them are probably older than others, but anyways, I just wanted to show you guys what I got for some new bow dies. So this one I may or may not use in the video, but I just think that this is really cute. In the die realm anyways, on the internet that I've seen, a lot of people seem to be really into this frame die that has a flat bow on top because everyone's so into bows these days. The coquette look and frames are always fun. You can always stick someone's picture in there, a cute illustration in there. There's so much fun stuff you can do with this. But yeah, flat bows are really, really fun to do. On the flat bow trend, I did get some flat bows. I really like flat bows. There's a few different types of flat bows here. These guys right here. This is a sample of them. They're really nice in case you just want to really, really quickly make some bows, and then you can always add a little cute thing in the center. It doesn't have to necessarily be a piece of paper, but you can always add something in the center, which is always really cute. So there's that. There's this bow. I think there's 3 different sizes of this bow. You can turn it into a shaker, which I think is cool, as well as a flat bow, which I think is probably what I'm going to end up doing. But there's all different ways of doing this. But yeah, this is called the Trio Flat Bow. I can't remember what site this guy was from, but this one I think is from KS Craft. It's actually a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. These guys are really small. So there's a small, medium, and this is the biggest one. And the biggest one looks like it just fits in my palm. And my hands are quite small, so I feel like they're a lot smaller than I thought they were going to be. Anyways, if you want little tiny bows, I think they're really good for that. So there's that one. And then there's this flat bow, which basically looks like this. Kind of looks like that. So that might be fun to do. So these are all the flat bows. I said that really funny. All the flat bows. I also got a lacy bow. This kind of looks more like a standard bow. Somebody else did, I don't know if it's a pinwheel, but this is a very different type of bow. Almost like a boxier bow, but it's super cute the way they did it. I don't know how they did it, but I just think it's really, really cute. So there's that kind of bow as well. I got these 2 bows because it was around St. Patrick's Day and Easter before that I bought this stuff. So there's these cute bows. They're a shamrock bow. So it kind of looks like that. And then I have a bunny face bow. But yeah, you can do it a few different ways. This might be fun to play around with for next year. Also, the nice thing about this one is it kind of looks like the heart bow that I have, right? It's very similar, I think. Not fully the same, but kind of similar. It has a nice little shamrock too. But you can also use this for not just St. Patrick's Day, but for Valentine's Day too, right? So there's that. And I think those are all the new bow dies. Okay. So I'm back in the poorly lit area. I'm sorry guys. I know I did this in lots of other videos, the flower video most recently, but I just wanted to cut out some stuff, and some people like to watch the process of cutting out dies, so I don't think I'm going to do too much paper cutting because I did a lot of that with the flower video. Just want to show you guys how things cut out with faux leather. So I have a whole basket of dies here. I just got these cute baskets recently for my birthday. I saw those, I was like, I want those to organize my projects. So that'll be fun. I don't think I'm going to do this flower bow. I know I did this flower recently, but I'm not going to do the butterfly bow either. I think that they're really pretty and cute. Plus, they look very detailed, so I might just do that with paper someday because I think it might be hard to cut this out of the faux leather. I might use this. I think that would look nice. I already did the heart bow. I'm just going to probably do fairly straightforward and simple assemblies. The skull bow might be kind of neat to do, even though it looks kind of complicated. It doesn't look that complicated though in structure, so it just might be complicated with this stuff, but I'd have to probably cut that out of paper or something. Let's see. Pencil bow. This one's super cute, especially as a DIYer / artist. I feel like that would be really, really fun to do. Debating this one, I feel like there's a lot of paper piecing, so probably won't. It's a lot of detail. And the bows are hard to do sometimes. This cat bow is fun. I think that the cat on its own is really cool. And then I think the bow is fairly simple, so I might actually just make the bow from this one because it looks like a fairly simple and straightforward bow, so I might just do that. Oh, I have another one of these bows. That's so funny. I didn't realize I had the same bow. Oh my god. Well, that's gonna be easier to cut out stuff. That's nice. Then it'll be easier to manufacture stuff. Okay. I thought that the bat bow was lost, but it's actually in this, so it's not just the spider bows, but it's the Halloween bows, I called it. So the spider bows and the bat bows are in this specific one. So yeah, I have cut out some bat bows already, so I might just assemble that in this video. It's so shadowy over here, and I get in the way of the light all the time, and I don't mean to. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let's see. I don't want to do the chunky glitter. I think that that's kind of messy. Maybe this glitter. I don't think it comes off as easily. I might do that, and maybe this. It's a lot of fun pink ones. Let's get some different materials. I'm trying to get some thinner ones because I think the thicker ones are a little harder to cut specifically. So I got a lot of pink here. Let's see if there's any other colors. Let's get some blue happening here. Maybe this cool blue. It's a little thicker. Let's try that one. Some of the snakeskin material. Now, there's a lot of black, which is cool for Halloween. I think there's some red in here too. So this is kind of similar to this blue one, similar textures. I might just do this shiny, that is shiny. Ooh, look at that. There's also hollow material. I like this if I was going to do a mermaidy thing. This is kind of fun for summer. This one's kind of neat and holographic. Maybe I'll just skip out on this pink and I'll just do this holographic pink. It feels like your fingerprints can get on that easily. Wipe off a lot of this pink though. I don't know what's going on there. Is this color changing? I don't know, it might be like a color changing material or something? I'm not too sure. It's kind of interesting though. Maybe I'll do that flamingo. I'm gonna put this back. It's very cool, but I have a shiny red one. This is really neat too. This is metallic-y. There's some neat ones in here. I'm gonna see if I can try to link the link down below for this, but I got this so long ago, so hopefully I can find the link for it. This is kind of neat. This actually feels kind of leathery, like a matte kind of pink leather. And this one's more textured, and then this one's a little bit bigger, snakeskin kind of texture. Lots of cool ones here. I'll just show you real quick the blue and pink pack that I also have. This is just the pink pack. I didn't show you all of the blue and pink. This isn't all of it either because I've actually dipped into this before to like other projects. Yeah, so this is 2 different tones of pink and 2 different textures. This kind of bigger texture, and this is a smaller, shinier sort of snakeskin texture. And then there's a white, more matte snakeskin texture. But yeah, so there's also white in here, not just blue. And so then there's this really sparkly one here. This one's also very sparkly, but it's more of a hint of blue and purples and things happening in it, which is kind of pretty. Both of them are really nice. This one's kind of neat. This one, in case I did the butterfly bow or something, this might be kind of cool. So there's that, and there's this kind of texture blue that you guys already saw, I think. So that's what I'm working with. Yeah, so I did put some scraps back in here. There's some red stuff that I've already worked with. This was kind of hard to cut, I think, but this one was a little easier to cut. Sparkly daisy. Okay, so these are the ones that I have to work with. Oh, I'm just going to get a sheet of paper so that things don't transfer from the plate to the fabric or whatever that I'm working with. That's bad, so I'd rather have it transfer onto here. So I'm going to go with these 2 bows. I didn't even realize I had both of these bows. It's so funny that I actually did that. This is just so much easier to manufacture things and do like a little factory when you have a couple of dies. So I actually don't mind. In case somebody ever wanted to borrow these too, it's good to have one in stock. So let's do, and depending on if it cuts out or not, I might have to cut things out with my very sharp embroidery scissors right here. So we'll see if we need these. So I'm going to put these guys face down onto the material. Maybe I will take this guy off. The fabric is sticking away, sticking to this paper. That's funny. Alright, let's see how this cuts. Sometimes these things cut okay and sometimes they don't. Yeah, this might take a while to cut everything out. So I like to snip out stuff if it's not coming out that easily, but it seems to come out okay though. So stuff like this, you can rip it out, but then you've got all these strings that you have to kind of cut off. So I might cut off a bunch of them later if I see some. That's the one thing that I don't like about cutting out the fabric. Yeah, you can see there's a whole mess of string if you pull it. Probably have to trim that stuff later. But yeah, sometimes I find felt is a lot easier. It doesn't have as much string and stuff coming out of it. It depends on the type of felt and the fabric and whatever. So that's one of the things that I dislike about cutting out fabric with dies. Maybe people have stronger die cutting machines. I don't know. They don't have this issue. I'm not sure, but this is an issue that I run into frequently with my specific die cutter. I know some Cricuts and certain other cutting machines can cut fabric fairly well. I think the newest Cricut that just came out can cut things a little bit better as far as I know. Faster. here. Anyways, so this is that. Again, there's a little bit that I need to clean up here, but it's not too big of a deal. So there's that piece. So this piece is the main part of the bow. And then let's cut out the dovetail a bit. So I might turn off the camera and cut that out because you guys already watched me do that. So I released these guys. Some of them I had to cut up in a way that I didn't want to. Like this one, I lost some of the laciness of it. It sucks that I couldn't quite keep the shape of it. So this one looks okay. This one's a lot better. I think I got the tails pretty good. I'll show you guys how to assemble all this stuff later. And then I've got, these are the bow centers. I have theories as to why this was very difficult to cut out. I don't fully know for sure. I can only venture a guess. But as you can see, this is very flimsy material. Some of them are fine to cut out if they're a little thinner, but they have to be kind of almost thicker than this. So I would suggest getting somewhat thicker material. This one is a little bit thicker, so this one might cut a little bit better too because it doesn't have as much texture on it. And we'll see. I'm gonna do a sample of this in a moment. So I have brought out this particular die because it doesn't seem to be as detailed, the skeleton bow die. So I just wanted to get out this main part here. They look almost like glasses. Two eyeballs. So this is very slippery, so it's very easy to slip around, which is kind of annoying. So you might want to tape it down if you can. I might actually just do that because it is very slippery. And then I need a bow center as well. So let's put this maybe here along this edge. Washi tape. I just took off all the tape. It looks like it cut pretty cleanly, but who knows. Oh, this one popped right out. So yeah, so sometimes it can pop right out. I think it just depends more on the material. Sometimes it might have little spots here and there that you might have to cut out. This one just cut pretty cleanly. Right here needs to be helped out a little bit, but it doesn't have to be helped as much as that one. That's all a little sparklier. So yeah, I think it's kind of dependent on the material. I think it's a little easier to cut out, not the sparkly stuff as much, but definitely think it's easier to cut out the stuff that maybe even has a snakeskin texture. I feel like I've been kind of successful with cutting that stuff out. I'm not sure if you worked with dyes before, maybe you can drop me a line down below, but I don't know if people have used stuff to help them out with the cutting process. I think there's metal plates that some people have used, so... yeah, so this one's a little easier to cut out than the other one. So this is all one bow because this one looks like it's doubled up a couple times. It's a fluffy bow, so you can sort of double it up. You don't have to double it up this much, but maybe this picture will show a bit better. You can see it's fluffy and doubled up a couple times. So yeah, you don't have to necessarily double it up twice. You can always use one of them and then just make that bow. It really depends on how you want to do things. So I'm going to do some more off-camera cuts. Hopefully we'll have more of a spread to work with, and you can check that out next. Okay, so I've sort of set up, I have to grab a couple things like a glue gun and stuff like that, but I've sort of set up the area for my bows. I might spread this out a little bit more or maybe cut up a few things if I'm missing some stuff. I'll have to check that out a little bit more. And then I just wanted to show you guys this, the holographic material that I wanted to use. I thought it was thin enough, right? It looks pretty thin, but if you actually feel the material, it's actually very thick. So I put this one bow set in one set first, and then I did another one 4 times, and it still didn't even cut through. So while I'm watching TV, I'll just cut this stuff out with my little scissors by hand, which I don't like to do. I like it to be fully cut all the way out, but I used a fairly simple die, right? So it's interesting because this pirate skull bow is what I used for a lot of these, but the interesting thing was I used the cat bow also for, say, this one. I think it was mainly this one. So a lot of these guys were the pirate bow, and then I think this one, there might be a couple over here, I can't remember which one, was the cat bow. It's a little bit smaller, but it's basically the same bow. So I just thought that was really interesting. You could basically just find a bow that you find simple enough, and then you don't even have to necessarily use these things that come with it. You can use them separately if you'd like to make embellishments or something like that, but you don't necessarily have to use it with the bow. But if you want to, you can. They're the perfect size for these bows because they're specially made for it, right? But it's nice because you could make a bunch of plain bows with even specialty bows like this if you like the shape of it, and then you can just stick something in the center. So it's a bit of my spread. I just wanted to talk about this. Okay, so I've gathered a few things. This is a brand new glue gun I've never used. I got this from the dollar store, so this is a pretty cheap one. $3-4 bucks. I can't even remember how much it was, to be honest. It was very, very cheap, so hopefully it's a good one. The pink one I got that's been lasting forever was a really cheap one from the dollar store as well. This one feels lighter and a little bit cheaper, to be honest. Hopefully it'll still do the trick though. I also have specifically fabric sticks, so I might get the regular glue gun out that I normally use as well, but I do want to use purchased these fabric glue sticks specifically for these bows. Maybe I'll plug in both glue guns just so that I can rotate between them if I need to. This is by Bonder, these fabric sticks, and these are the mini size. I'm going to plug this in, make it a little messy. I'm also just going to use this regular glue gun with the regular glue sticks because I want to attach some of these metal things. You can also get something like weld bond that bonds to almost anything. So this is wood, tile, glass, and more. The only thing that it doesn't really bond to is plastic. So it should probably bond to the metal. Okay, I'm hoping. So I'm just going to plug this pink glue gun in, and I'm going to get out some of the glue sticks for that as well. Hopefully it won't get too confusing and too messy over here. This is all I have for fabric glue sticks. I don't have any more than this, unfortunately, because they're such a specialty type of glue. They are a little bit pricier. So I ended up cutting this guy out. I'm just gonna put this guy aside for now. I kind of want to have an area so that I can glue stuff. So I'm not sure exactly which one we're going to start first, but I might also use this chopstick to help me with gluing things because it's a nice pokey tool. So it's a little bit easier and more delicate to get things glued down. I'm going to try one of these guys first. It might be a little bit slippery material, to be honest. I'm just going to clean this up a bit because this is really thick, it seems. We're going to put a bow center in the middle of this, so it's not going to be that noticeable. Oops, this is very stringy. There's no control with this glue. I'm sure it bonds pretty well, but yeah, it's very thick. Put a little bit in the center here, bond that. This is a double bow. I'm doing the hardest one first. A lot of layers of glue here. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this around here. So that covers up a lot of the glue. It's kind of on the back side. So I'm gonna put this guy aside for now. That one's done. What do you guys think? It's pretty cute, even though it looked really messy for a while there. Anyway, I want to do something that just has one layer, so I'm guessing this guy. I'm just gonna do this with the regular glue gun. This is a very flimsy fabric. Use a tool of some kind, so you can use a chopstick like I'm using. There's also sculpture tools you can use. The only thing that I really hate about doing bows is it can be incredibly messy. I saw somebody doing bows a little less messy by, I think they just punched a hole. I think they just did it with paper though, but they just punched a hole in the center of the bows. The bows probably weren't as thin as this in the center, but yeah, they punched a hole in the center, and then the dovetail edges here and here, it was a little thicker, and then they put a brad through the center of everything. I think it was Poochie Tat that did that. She's pretty cool. She's on YouTube. I would recommend her. I'll link her down below for you guys. She does a better job than I do at this stuff. Alright, let's see if I can put something like this on. You can also, if you don't mind letting things dry set for a while, you can always use the resiny glues that I like to use. Just leave it overnight, like this Glossy Accents or the Dimensional Magic. Those guys should do the trick. Gonna glue that guy on the back side, so if you're able to open it up and put the bow center through there, that helps make it a lot more secure. Anyways, it's pretty. I'm gonna let that dry on the side. So I've done these bows before, so you can actually layer up like this. This one's already been layered, so you can layer stuff up like this. You can do it with hot glue. What I would probably do in the future is using white glue, like a weld bond or an actual fabric glue might really be helpful in this case. I think the weld bond may not work as well because this is actually a pleather material, so it's plasticky, so that might not work as well as you'd hope. So these are cool, and there's the bow centers here. Let us try to make one of these guys. I think I'm going to use my fabric glue for just tacking this down a little bit more. Whoa! Just to make sure that it's actually on there. Do the center part. So yeah, this is if you want to layer stuff. It looks kind of cool in the end, but it's not necessary. You don't necessarily have to do the layering. So these are great for Halloween, obviously, but you could probably even put some sort of dragon in the center. Some dragons have been drawn with bat wings before, so. Okay, let's try to not burn myself. It's really hard to bond the corners down, I find, on this. If it's thick fabric, I'm going to use this to wrap around it. So I'm going to do another dab of glue, big dab of glue, and wrap this around. It's really hard when they're small like this too. It's gonna look really ugly on the back right now because it's very small. I'm gonna glue this down to the silver one. Woo! It wanted to fly. It's so big to fly. So that just looks really cute, I think. And you can do it any way you want with how you're layering colors. That's basically how you do these guys. Anyway, I'm gonna turn off the camera. I'm gonna try to glue a bunch of this stuff down. Hopefully I won't pick up too many new tricks. If I do, I'll let you know, okay? After doing a few of these guys, I figured out something that I think is kind of important to show you. I haven't done bows in a long time. It's been a while since I've done them, and I used to do more complicated ones like this. When I did do them, I didn't do the simpler ones. So what I'm doing is just putting a bead of hot glue right across here. Just right in the center here on the back side. Just gonna show you with this bigger one. And then I'm just meeting these guys in the middle. I'm just gonna try it again. Put that in the middle, meet them in the middle. Instead of overlapping like I was doing, I think that makes them bulkier. Just try to meet them in the middle and let them dry that way. Okay, you might still get some glue coming out like this. So basically you do that. And I'm gonna wrap this guy around while that glue is still hot. So I like this longer bow center. It's just easier to overlap. So I could potentially put the hair thing in the center there. I might just try that actually with the next bow. Okay, I'm gonna turn this camera off and make the bow mostly all the way through, and then I think before I add the bow center, I'm going to show you how I add these little hair clips, but you can add those to eggs. You can also add them to your hair too if you'd like to. Okay, so I've set this guy up, so hopefully this will be fairly straightforward. Put a big bead of this across. Let that come down on top of that. Let that glue down before I wrap it around. And then I'm going to open that up. This is very tricky and very messy, so just be careful when you're doing this. Put that down there. I'm just going to get the other side. You can actually probably let it sort of sit underneath. Just make sure that it's not glued down as it's resting, right? That should do the trick. Because this is flattened out a little bit, I'm just gonna take this and puff it up a bit. That was the original intent for using this. Things get flattened out. Okay, so I'm almost done here. I just wanted to state this before finishing this last bow off here. When you're doing patterns, you have to think about, is the pattern directional? If it is directional, like this is actually a directional pattern. So these guys, the flowers and the stars, they don't really go in a specific direction, so it's not a big deal if you flip things around or cut things out wonky. It should be fine because it's scattered too, right? It's not that big of a deal. No matter what, the pattern's gonna look good. This one is another story. So because it's a bunch of flamingos, this looks like it's just one way. So that's what makes it directional, right? It's going with a specific direction. But yeah, so if you put this on upside down, that's gonna look funny. So I would say try to, if you can, remember what you're doing with this one. You have to be a little bit more cognizant of what you're doing and stay present. Okay, so this is the only one that I have a directional pattern with that I'm going to be doing that with. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue this up and I will show you how it looks in the end. So these are all the bows that we made today. Some of them I made off screen, but mostly made in the video. I also have the heart bows that I made a while ago. I also have another one. This one I turned into a magnet. I used these from Amazon. If I can, I'll see if I can link them down below. I did this around Valentine's Day. Put a sparkly paper heart in the center, and then a gem that I got from the dollar store for Valentine's Day. These are very, very strong magnets. Very strong, they can attach to lots of things. So that's kind of cool if you wanted to attach something on. I attached it to a box and it just went through the box, so it's nice if you're trying to attach things to boxes or bags or something like that and you just want it to come off easily. And then if you want to, you can stick it on a fridge, so that's kind of cute. So I did that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about bow centers and what you can use as bow centers. There's so many different things you can actually do. So for one, just going off of the flowers that I did recently, you could always put some beautiful flower in the centers. There we go. It's very, very pretty. Obviously the hearts in the center look really nice, especially for the heart-shaped bows. And I made the heart-shaped bows pretty much the same way that I did these guys, right? So depending on how thick the fabric is that you use, they might lay differently. This was thick fabric, so it popped up pretty easily. But again, I had to cut these guys out because they're so thick, right? So sometimes you need a little help in making sure that they look rounder. These guys have flattened out a bit. They kind of don't look too bad when they flattened out slightly either. Anyways, there's that. I just wanted to show you guys the flowers in the center. That's a possibility. Obviously, this one has bows in the center of the wings. And you don't have to do paper flowers in the center. I've seen resin flowers, ones that look like roses. Also the different types of little flowers that can go right in the center. I don't really have any to show you. I bought some not too long ago, but they haven't arrived yet. But they can look really nice in the center as well. You can do jelly beans or gummies in the center. Cool flat back cabochons. That looks super cute in the middle of a bow. You can find really small nail art that you can stick in the center of small bows. That looks nice. So you can do that. So this is nice for baking themes and stuff like that. This might be nice if you're doing some sort of fall thing. I think I've got ones that look like acorns too, so you can play around with that. They're kind of large, those ones. Kind of keeping with the baking theme. You can do flat back cabochons that look like fake M&Ms. This one looks extra chocolatey, so that's nice. If you guys saw the flower video, I did eyeballs in the center of the flowers, so you can totally do that as well. You can do little flies or spiders in the center of some bows. Might want to bend it a little bit better so it actually can stick down. Black cat sprinkle, little cats, and a bow center that shows up a little bit better there. For the Halloween bows, sometimes they'll stick bears in the center, little gummy bears that look like skeletons. But yeah, you can basically dress them up all different ways. I like to make a bunch of them, and then whatever the project is, I can just find one that looks kind of like it goes with the color scheme of the project, and then I can just stick something in the center that also looks like it goes with the theme and the color scheme. But you just sort of play around with little fun cabochons and things like that to stick in the center just for whatever project you're doing. So if you want to make this look a little cute, you can always make it have a little more flair, right? Put it on the side like that if you like. On a bag like that. You might be able to even stick it in the center there, which actually is super cute. The star one looks actually really cute because it's not a lot of competing colors. Yeah, I think it looks cuter than this one, to be honest. Yeah, so anyways, that looks super cute. But yeah, that's the thing that you can sort of use them for. Stick them on bags or something like that. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is just basically how you make them when you have dies. This is, again, just the fabric version. You could totally make them out of paper. And again, it helps to fluff up the paper with some sort of tool. They'll fall really flat sometimes. They'll still fall flat with the fabric, but it's kind of harder to keep them up unless it's a thicker fabric like this, but then it doesn't really die cut that easily. Anyways, I hope that was helpful for somebody out there, especially if you've never made these kind of bows before. But you can see that you can make all sorts of different kinds, even just with a few dies. I don't have a lot of dies that I use for this. I didn't make the flat bows because the flat bows are pretty straightforward, and I would probably just make them out of most likely paper, and then I would just glue them regularly. If I was doing paper, I would just use the Barely Arts precision glue. So I find that that's really easy to do delicate details a little bit more. Some people have made the paper bows with hot glue, so you can definitely do that as well. They do look really cute in the end, and I think they look good on packages, presents, and gifts. So really, really fun. Obviously, it's fun for birthdays. It's fun for, I've done stuff for Halloween. I've done stuff for Valentine's Day, whatever holiday, honestly, or Christmas, anytime. Mother's Day, you can do all sorts of different patterns, some materials. You can even add stuff. Some people have added stuff like tulle to give it a little more texture. So they'll like add it between the bows. There's literally so much you can do with this. I'm just scratching the surface. I just wanted to show you a few things here, and I hope you all like that. If you do, please give me a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, if you're new, and please share the video if you think this is going to interest somebody else that you know. So I hope everybody has an awesome day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You can even make this for Father's Day too. They look almost like little bow ties. And take care, everybody. Have a good one. Okay. Happy Mother's Day to those who celebrate. Bye.